Thanks for joining me for another video. Today we're going to compare the first Astro I drilled for the review to the new Astro I just drilled to compare to the Omega and the Nuclear. The specific thing we're keying in on though is pin up versus pin down. For my first Astro, which we're looking at now, I went 4 5/8 by 3.5 by 4.5, and the second one that we'll see later is 5 by 3.5 by 2.5. Marginally stronger on the pin to pap, not really enough to notice, but the big difference of course is the pin buffer measurement. I don't have a layout photo available for this one, but this layout put the pin below my ring finger shaded slightly towards my bridge, and it has the PSA in the same place as my second Astro. Because it's the atomic core and R2S Pearl, it's pretty long and punchy despite being pinned down. When people talk about pin down versus pin up, they typically think smooth versus flippy. However, that's not a universal description. The Astro is built for angle, so even if you drill it pin down, it's only going to be smoother than it was built for. So going pin down will still leave you with a clean and angular reaction. People seem to think that if you drill a long and flippy ball like the Astro pin down that you're going to somehow end up with a smooth and slow reaction. That's not the case. Layouts fine-tune that specific ball's reaction, they don't create different reactions. For example, going pin down and adding surface on a phase 3 isn't going to turn it into a phase 2. It'll be smoother than normal, but still have more shape than a phase 2, just like going pin up and polishing a phase 2 won't turn it into a phase 3. It's still going to be earlier and smoother because of the ball design. Now, like I also mentioned in my Omega and Astro comparison, there's no reason to buy one ball and try to turn it into another one. I saw someone in a forum somewhere say that they drilled their phase 3 pin up, of course because of the myth that pin down symmetrics will just leave flat 10s. However, it was too sharp, so they had to take it down to 2000 to calm it down. Well, at that point, you don't have a phase 3 anymore, and the point or purpose you got the phase 3 for is gone unless you're on 30 mils of oil and need a little traction in addition to the shape, but those situations are few and far between. Now, just like with the Astro, I knew the P3 was going to be crazy, so I went pinned down on it to blend it out a little and still retain the length and shape that I wanted, and obviously I got that. For my new Astro though, I wanted some craziness. My arsenal had gotten a little too pinned down heavy. I was missing a super strong look that you sometimes need when you have to play a lot of angle and get something back up the hill with some power. There's obviously no shortage of that here. The pin-up Astro is really visually impressive. I sacrifice a bit of control because it forces bigger angles because of the quick friction response, which of course is what the idea was, but in situations where I have the room and need the boom, this would be the better choice. For a regular league night, for example, the pin down Astro would be great to start with. You'd get that traditional clean and firm Astro shape, but with more forgiveness at the end of the pattern from straighter angles. Mrs. N would hold a bit, Mrs. Right wouldn't overreact as much as the pin-up version, which would be quite a bit more sensitive to misses from straighter angles, but as the night goes on and you're forced inside and the pin down starts to feel it, the angle from deeper on the lane also helps to act as hold, which gives you the extra room you need for the pin-up Astro to be completely effective. I realize I'm speaking from a higher rev point of view, but just because you're a lower rev or straighter player doesn't mean that you have to go pin up and flippy on everything, because what that also tends to do is force you further left than your game is built to handle just to get it down the lane, and you get what we call turn and burn. Still sharp, but it uses all of its energy turning and doesn't have enough left for the pins. Now sometimes a pin down layout on a sharper ball can still give you the clean and firm look without forcing you deeper than you want to be. The ultimate point I'm trying to drive home though is that layout is a fine-tuning tool. You're obviously not going to end up with a slow and smooth reaction out of an Astro just because it's pinned down. It's still an Astro. It's going to clear the heads and kick down lane, and you're not going to end up with a skid flip monster if you go pin up on an idle, for instance. You're just making small adjustments to dial that particular ball in for your game. Bowling isn't done on paper, and ball reaction will always be king. Thanks for watching.